Well, we have returned to Liquid Gold. Michael, let's go for it.
Where the night is young and the rum is old. Welcome to Liquid Gold here in Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. It's good to see you, man. I haven't really seen you since, last week.
No.
Our epic Craigathon, we'll call it.
Since we were sitting in this room last week. Yeah.
That was fun. That was like a whole night wrapped up into a long podcast taping.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, it was killer. It was killer. Yeah, I mean, we've been in touch.
Yeah, we've been in touch.
This week. Texts.
This is a podcast all about beverage. We talk about booze. We talk about spirits, cocktails, wine. We had a great episode 2 with Alex Birch. Had some great feedback on that. That had some tips on kind of how to buy wine. Also some pairing. We have Parapalooza. We talk about what you can pair with different food items. And we're not talking hoity-toity. We're talking what you might pair with Taco Bell, which, hey, if you want to get into that right now, Taco Bell.
I'd like to get into a 7-later.
Obviously, you're probably like, either you're in the car and so you're getting the drink from the Taco Bell window, or maybe you're going to stop by a gas station, pick up some beer. In which case, I might say, like, I love a lot of these like Gozas that you see now at they're at gas stations, they're everywhere. Or these beers that are light, but they have like kind of a juicy thing going on, like Sequench.
A watermelon Goza.
Yeah, something like that. That would be amazing with like the salty flavor bomb of Taco Bell.
Sure.
So hey, but that's the kind of things we talk about here on Liquid Gold. You can find us at liquidgold_pod on Instagram. My name is Mike Wolf, along with my co-host here, Kenneth Dedmon. Always excited to be here. And thanks to We Own This Town for having us. We Own This Town Studios here in Wedgwood, Houston. Tonight, night has fallen in Nashville, and the rain is falling hard. And hopefully we don't get any more flood.
Those are no dewdrops out there.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get any more flood notifications here while we're recording this. Also, we should give a shout out to Michael Eads, our producer, who recently had a birthday. And we were just talking off mic a little bit. We learned about a special project that he is working on throughout this year. And it involves Garth Brooks, and it involves his alter ego, Chris Gaines. So we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of Garth Brooks hosting Saturday Night Live, and then Chris Gaines, his alter ego, being the musical guest. Kind of a glorious moment in Nashville music history. So the 20th anniversary, Michael and a few of his friends have a website. It is garthbrooks.chrisgaines.com. So find that, and then what they're trying to do is get Garth Brooks to host yet again, and this time reverse the roles. So Chris Gaines would host, and that could make for some great kind of emo skits, and there's a lot that they could do.
Yeah, Chris Gaines was like dressed up like a member of the Gin Blossoms or something, right?
Yeah. He was like the Gin Blossoms on Mascara in the Rain.
Yeah, what do you call that haircut?
Jagged? It's a jagged cut.
I don't know, man.
Give me the Chris Gaines, said no one, ever.
Yeah. Or everyone for a week.
Everyone for, maybe a couple weeks. Good album. Some great songwriting on that album, I gotta say. I'm into it. Things we are not going to talk about today on Liquid Gold.
Nope. Catholic
cocktails. Which, hey, that's not my topic. That was someone had brought that up as, religious cocktails. No, we're not talking about that.
No.
Turning bread into beer. Interesting topic. I've seen bread items like sourdough starters used in bread in beer before. So that could be a topic for the future.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I'd rather talk about turning bread into soup.
No, I love a bread bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get down with that. We just came from Dozen Bakery here.
Hell yeah.
Right up the hill, Wedgwood, Houston. Shout out to Justin, who does amazing food there. So check that out. That's one of our favorite places and one of our favorite bakeries. Also, things we're not going to talk about today, probably will in a future episode, are gambling bars. The new speakeasies. And does anyone know where we could have an episode? I'm just throwing that out there.
I got a lot to say about that, but
they're out there.
Put it to rest. Yeah, no, they exist. There's a
very
large company in the Republic of Ireland called Paddy Power that is located kind of like next door to a lot of sports bars.
Paddy Power?
Patty Power.
That sounds like a great idea for a speakeasy in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
That takes takes a little action. Hey.
Yeah, and
we'll get
we
into
have
that.
the buffer zone of the Atlantic Ocean in case they wanted to like sue us
True.
for taking their name.
We'll spell it different. And it's the title.
Are there international trademarks? Could they sue us? Or who could sue us?
That's why we're not going to talk about it, because we're not lawyers.
Yeah.
All right, a little bulletin. Pow, 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 pow. It is East Nashville Restaurant Week this week. It's been going on. It started Monday, and we're kind of in the middle of it here.
Yeah. Craig,
our guest for this week in our two-parter epic Craigapalooza. We're going to get with him later, but he is from Peninsula over in East Nashville.
Excellent.
And Peninsula is involved in the East Nashville Restaurant Week. Lyra, where I'm currently bartending Fridays and Saturdays, so come see me. We're doing some stuff for East Nashville Restaurant Week, and 210 Jack, Treehouse, a couple other ones I can't really think of right now, but check that out on Instagram, East Nashville Restaurant Week. And Craig talks a little bit about that. We're going to get into that later. And before we kind of throw it to Craig for a bit, the weather is starting to warm up. We've had some nice weather over the last week or so.
Dude.
I know it's going to get cold again, but it's going to warm back up. And so what you're starting to see more at the bars now, again, is some crushed ice. So I want to go over one of my favorite applications for crushed ice. And if you're like, well, crushed ice, okay, I can take ice and I can throw it in a blender and crush it that way. I don't really want to do that. A lot of blenders are not even
more
really...
like a slushy thing. And
yeah,
the slushy thing is like something you want to maybe move into, like as the drink matures. Is that...
Sure.
Are we hitting a good point? What do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, all I would say is just go to Tonic and get a couple large cups of ice.
Yo.
And the ice will stay tight in your refrigerator for quite a while. I wouldn't take the ice from Tonic unless you're getting the bags, which the one in Madison, you can pick up 10-pound bags there. But if you're just going to Tonic for the ice and you're going to be making drinks with it that night, maybe the next day, I'd keep it in the fridge, because in the freezer, it's going to sort of solidify. And you keep it in the fridge, and it stays pretty tight for 6 to 8 to 10 hours. So anyway, I want to go over the Sherry Cobbler, one of my favorite drinks. It's so easy. I think people what can get complicated about it is the garnish. You can really decorate it up like a Christmas tree, which I recommend you doing because it's beautiful. But this is one of the original cocktails. Also, one of the reasons for the straw, which has become very controversial in the bar world. The straw.
Straws
people are
out.
like, we don't care if you want to tear down buildings that are 8 stories high, but what are your straws made from?
Yeah, single-use plastics are
They're going out.
Yeah.
And that's great.
They need
we're
to,
into
Mike.
that.
Yeah.
But let's not demonize the straw. It's a necessary vessel, especially for a Sherry Cobbler.
It's a tool.
And all you need for this Sherry Cobbler, all right? Get you some sherry. It doesn't have to be super nice or anything. Get an Amontillado sherry, a Manzanilla sherry, a Fino sherry. Those are the 3 I'd kind of recommend you. And you could mix and match. If you have, say, a Fino and a Manzanilla, go 1.5 ounce of each. But you want to use about 3 ounces of sherry for this drink. You're going to use a spoonful of sugar. All right?
Sure.
So that could be a light tablespoon, a heavy teaspoon, somewhere in there. Just a little spoonful of sugar. That's it. In your shaker tin, you've got your 3 ounces of sherry. Now you can sub Madeira if you want to. That can be really nice. A Madeira cobbler. That's also a traditional way to have a cobbler. You could even do port if you're a port fan. If you have some sake lying around, go ahead. Some sake cobblers. Why not?
Would you
it's
like
crushed ice?
blend?
It's gonna be delicious.
What if you did like a little bit of all that?
I've never done that. I've definitely blended Madeira and sherry, and that can be beautiful together. So I would recommend that. But I digress. So with sherry or Madeira, 3 ounces. All right, that's what you're going with. A spoonful of sugar. Then you're gonna you need an orange, maybe a lemon. All right, you're gonna take a very thin slice from the peel, from the rind, your little orange peel or lemon peel, and you don't want the pith in that peel or it will release some bitterness. All right, so that's all you've got. 3 ounces of sherry or Madeira, a spoonful of sugar, and some citrus peel. What you're going to do is lightly muddle the citrus peel with the sugar in the sherry. Go ahead and mix that around. Then you're going to shake that until it's cold with some ice. You're going to strain it over some crushed ice. And then decorate it up. Throw some blueberries on there that you can eat while you're drinking it. Some blackberries. Maybe an orange slice to give you some acid. If you're like, oh, it's tasting a little bit sweet, I'm going to take a bite of this orange. Oh, beautiful. And you're going to want to serve it with a straw. And be careful. Because if it's, say, one of these mid-February days where it's 75 degrees out and you've been out raking some leaves or clearing your yard or maybe mowing for the first time, Sherry Cobbler is going to go down fast. But it's kind of low ABV, so it's a good cocktail to sort of get spring going. And it's one of my absolute favorite drinks, and I feel like people make it very complex and say, well, we're going to do 2 ounces of sherry and some citrus juice and some syrup and this and that. All you need is really 3 ounces of sherry or Madeira, and you can do a mix of sherry and a little bit of sugar and some citrus peel, and you are going to love it.
Yeah, you're in business.
Yeah.
It's great. Begs for food, too. It sounds like, I don't know, Sherry Cobbler is like perfect pre-dinner cocktail.
Definitely.
During, after as well.
You bet. It's just a great porch pounder.
Yes. Porch pounder.
Porch pounder season is coming. Let's be ready. Let's get our crushed ice ready. All right, well, we're going to throw it now to part 2 of our interview with Craig Schoen from Peninsula, and we're going to turn it over.
Damn, Craig's so fascinating, man. Craig, favorite, not what you would call a celebrity, but what someone else would call a celebrity. Who's your favorite celebrity that you've had in service?
Maren Morris. And I'll tell you why.
Who's that?
Exactly.
I dig Maren Morris. No, I love her.
Okay, so there was...
I'm so sorry.
Maren Morris... we get a lot... Pecorine is also probably my secret. He comes in a lot. But Maren Morris was my favorite because... she's adorable. She's like 4 foot whatever tall. And she had this great purse, and me being the idiot that I am had no idea who she was. I was like, cool purse, man. And I started talking to her and sat right up fucking next to her. And then I started seeing people taking pictures
that's my
of her.
security guard.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I had no idea who she was until she left. And then this little old lady was like, did you know who you were talking to? And I was like, no idea. So that's probably my favorite simply because I had no idea who the hell it was.
That's amazing.
Her husband's I see him at the gym all the time. He's very nice too. But that's the other thing is being in a town. The Y, man.
Yeah.
Margaret Maddox. No, not that one.
Gallatin. Gallatin Y.
Gallatin Y. Yeah, Margaret Maddox. The one of the great things about Nashville is being in a celebrity town that is so not celebrity. You know what I mean? Like if you're a country music star or you're a hockey player, they're similar in the sense that you can't be a diva if you're a country music star or a hockey player because, well, first of all, you're Canadian, so you're probably not going to be a diva anyway. But you won't play well with your fan base.
Yeah,
you know, like actors can be fucking divas, and you know, like musicians and shit like that of any other genre. But country music people, they need to be in touch with their people.
Yeah,
and you know, they got to be nice.
Keep the ears open.
That's right.
Keep those ears open so you get those. It might be a lyric.
I've had the amazing opportunity to run into musicians that I had played with years and years ago that I did not know lived here that would come in. I'd be like, dude, you're in blah, blah, blah.
You were
I toured for 30 years. That's why I got to go to Europe so much.
For how much?
30 years, 26 years. I was touring.
Christ.
Yeah. So I
lived a few
years and years. Yeah.
Are you like
a lot of hepatitis?
Drummer?
No.
Drummer? Bass player?
I play a little bass, but I play guitar and played bass and sang a little bit. So.
Rhythm guitarists live the longest.
Do they?
I think.
They also
drummers
look the best.
Like, drummers get killed.
My parents wouldn't let me play drums, otherwise I would have played drums for sure. But no, it's great. I'm running on all these musicians who couldn't afford to stay in New York, so now they live here, and I think it's awesome. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
Mikey,
awesome.
Who's your favorite celebrity that you or like?
Okay, yeah. Like, I've got it.
Yeah, there you go.
I never had Patty Loveless in service. I'm waiting for that. That will be my favorite.
I know you've been working on that for a couple of years.
But I will say that my favorite was Doris Burke. Doris Burke is a ESPN NBA reporter. She's probably the best ESPN or probably the best like in-game kind of game caller for NBA games. Doris Burke, amazing. She was at the Husk Bar with Rebecca Lobo, one of the best female basketball players ever.
Yeah.
And another amazing female basketball player, I can't remember her name right now, but I had this amazing corner pocket, and then I had one of the other dudes was like a Sports Center dude. I had them like all right in front of me, and they were just like, we want to try whatever you got. And then I remember, and Doris was just the best and was open to everything, and was we were talking basketball. We got to talk about all these other things. And at the end, Doris was like, okay, now I've had some of your drinks and I've had some other stuff. I want you to make me a drink that is so special you wouldn't make it for anyone else. Make me a drink that's just going to blow my mind. And it was like, oh my God, like Doris Burke's a Hall of Famer. I don't think she's in the Hall of Fame yet, but she will be. Amazing player, probably one of the best.
So what'd you make?
I made this like very kind of complicated Manhattan. She did like whiskey. She had this big meal, and I was like, I'm going to make you. And so I did like really nice rye whiskey.
You put her in the hotel bed before Oprah came on.
I did a little Carpano. I did a little Nardini. I did a little Brancamenta. I did a little bit of chocolate bitters. I did a touch of salt. I did a touch of walnut. I mean, I didn't do the 3 ingredients.
No, you didn't.
I brought
You've earned the right not to use 3 ingredients.
But I had to bring it out.
Yeah.
I had to go.
Yeah.
And she, I remember, and I'll never forget this. I slide the drink over to her and I said, I hope you enjoy this. And she took a sip of it and she like was like, wow, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. And she was kind of speechless, and for a broadcaster to be speechless, that's kind of cool. But that was definitely...
I used to serve Bezos quite a bit.
Oh, that's cool.
He was a weirdo. And I have to go back. Jeff Bezos.
Who is that?
He's just some dude with a lot of money and no hair. There's a woman that I left
It's
out.
this little site called Amazon.
That's one half of me.
Yeah. There's one person I left out who's an East Nashville icon who I absolutely am in love with, and that is Pam Tillis. She is married to, of course,
Pam Tillis?
To Matt, who owns Treehouse. And when she walked in the first time, I was like, yeah, you're pretty awesome. But she comes in a lot now, so it's different. But she is beautiful, and she's such a great artist. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
When y'all are working the floor, you can see each other. You make eye contact basically from most of the restaurant with each other.
Which Jake and I designed it that way.
Am I correct?
We 100% designed it that way. So when I'm on the floor, when my wife's on the floor, there isn't a moment where we can't turn and see if there's a food in the window, for one thing. But really, everything is about, and I would actually advise people who come into my restaurant to watch my wife, because the eye communication and the awareness of what actually is going on at every table is sort of astounding. It's something that I've been trying to do. Like I didn't spend
I paid attention, but tried not to like look like I was paying.
Right. But I mean, I didn't work that much on the floor. I was always behind a bar. So, I did some service, but most of the time I was in a kitchen or in a bar. I wasn't. Yeah. So for me, like, the importance of timing, of course, is important. But when certain dishes hit the table with a drink, and making sure that dish doesn't come out with the wrong drink. Like if someone's still finishing something that's going to kill that item. Either way, kill the drink or kill the food. Right? Like
the journey.
We one of the things that worries us about opening another restaurant or other restaurants is, right now we're there every single minute that it's open, and watching those timing things is very important to us.
Yeah.
And it's way more subtle than people imagine. Like there's a lot of thought into coursing things, like a lot more than any other restaurant I've ever been a part of.
It's true.
Yeah.
But the great thing is it's small, and like you said, we can see each other. So if someone's not ready or whatever, then it's pretty easy to fix it.
I think that's cool, because that's almost like you're not just going out to dinner. All right, you're going out to, if you're going to Peninsula, you're going out to sort of a performance. You're going out to something that's kind of choreographed, and you can honestly look around. Yeah. Look around you. There's plenty of smells on the plate. There's plenty of amazing tastes, and there's plenty of amazing things in your glass. But there's also this sort of choreographed thing that's going on. And enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's a personalized situation.
It's so freaking killer.
Well, I have 2 guys in my kitchen, too.
I look at them and I wonder,
it's so intense.
Are they stressed? I don't want to look at them too much.
No, dude.
They're not stressed.
They're just like thinking of a Danzig song and freaking busting
Yeah,
it, bro.
totally. Yep.
What Danzig song
Yeah.
would pair with this
7.
kick-ass shit I'm doing?
7.
You know, and the other thing is,
Danzig 7? Whoa, wow.
wow,
Come
right.
on, man.
7.
Come on, man.
Not-
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, right. Not to harp on
Down.
choreo, like what you said about being choreographed, but
Yeah.
I would encourage diners, especially diners who are like us who are in restaurants, to watch how differently the person that might not understand restaurants is treated in my restaurant, as far as the choreograph goes, and as far as the way the things are explained. The last thing I wanted to do when we came here is to make people feel like we were doing esoteric simply to do esoteric. I don't want anyone, I don't care if they're from fucking bumfuck Tennessee, to come in and feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, it's all about. I've never felt any inkling of that. I don't think anyone would. It's a very open, it's a comfortable space, and honestly, you sit back and just let it happen. If you're a diner there, just sit back and let
that's
it happen.
what I want
It's
people
gonna
to
be beautiful.
do. That's why I sit down next to people. People
Yeah.
are like, in a year of being open, my service style is to be very in your face, to be very like, this, just let me do this. Trust me. Trust me. And it's much easier to do that in a place like Nashville because people are so damn nice.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't get away with that in Seattle. I just couldn't. And I didn't have it wasn't my restaurant, so I didn't care as much either. But, I can't commend Nashville enough for being open, so open. And so they just want, when we go out to dinner, we want an experience. It's not just shoving food in your mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is, but but a lot of times it isn't. And I just, what I really, 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 really hope for in the future in this town is that people are honing their focus in and not trying to serve 500 people at once. There are places that do it really well, and then they make the city, like Husk, like City House, like Rolf is not that big. That's not the best example. Whatever.
But they're cranking it up.
Yeah.
Night. They get busy.
Yeah.
They get crushed.
They do.
Yeah.
But I guess what I mean, and they're focused. So I didn't mean to throw that in Husk's focus too. But what I mean is like I don't. 2 years ago, I think the trend was heading in that direction. I think last year was a little disappointing in the sense that I don't see as many people taking risks. I commend Lyra for doing it. Like, I'm from Oman. I'm gonna do the food that I know, and if it fucking fails, then it fails. But this is what I'm gonna do in a pretty big space. I give him so much props for that.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a badass. They're all badasses.
I want people to take chances, and that doesn't mean
the risk of investment in Nashville is it's constantly on an upslope. So if you want to start something, whatever you want to start, you have a great idea. If you don't get it going right away, the cost is just going to go up.
Yeah. Which is why I would never figure out the cost first, because I tell you what, I didn't have near enough money to open a restaurant when I moved here. Not near enough money. But I said, I'm going to make it happen. I said I was sick of waiting for it. And I knew that whatever I did here was still going to be half of what it would have cost me in Seattle. So I figured I could make it work. Like, I built half the shit in my restaurant with my chef.
Yeah.
Like, you do things. I want everyone who's thinking about opening a bar or a restaurant right now who's listening to this.
That's what I'm already
Go
very
fucking
happy to
do
hear
it.
that.
Go do it. I will help you. Call me. I will fucking help you do it. I want people that work for me and people that are in this business that I respect, which there are a lot of them here, which is saying a lot. Like, I talked to Mike, who I'm sitting next to, blindly via email through a mutual friend before I had even moved here.
We met through email. We talked about all
3
kinds
years
of things.
ago.
3 years ago.
And you responded to me immediately. I knew you weren't full of shit. Then when I got here, I'd met Jamie at 308. I met Jason at Treehouse. And I was like, I made up my mind right then. I was like, geez, I'm moving here now.
Yeah.
But I back to what I was saying. If you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s, whatever, and you have a concept, do it. Just go fucking do it. Because I'm telling you right now, the reason Sean Brock is staying here is because he wants to see that.
Homer.
We all in this room, in this city that are doing cool shit, see the potential. So don't fucking cop out anymore.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't open I know. I don't want to get too specific because I don't want to throw anybody personally under the bus. But I do want people to go with their guts and what they think is cool.
Yeah. Plunge ahead and fucking do it.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yep.
Well,
I
on
love
that
it.
note-
I'm so excited.
On that note, I'm opening up a pop-out on
Right now?
5th and following. You know where the basketball court is?
Yeah, dude. Let's fucking hoop. A 3-on-3
5:30,
restaurant.
okay. 2 hours from now.
Well,
Oh, man.
everyone will
This
tell
is
you you need
awesome.
money, and you do need money, but there's always ways to get money here.
Yep.
There's always ways to get money, period. It's the last. I learned that way too late. I always said, it costs too much. Don't even think about it. Just go do it. Just make it happen.
Yep.
There are people here in this town who, if they're regulars of yours at your bar or they're regulars of your restaurant and they believe in you, they'll give you some money. And I don't mean give. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not. But it's just money. You
Yeah.
know.
A little piece of advice for those younger bartending listeners: grab a business card.
Yeah. Keep
Yeah.
that stack of business cards.
Yeah.
You never know. This has been amazing.
Yeah, this should be like a 4-part series.
Yeah. Well, we should. I
Yeah,
really.
it's like Netflix.
Well, there's a couple things that I started an East Nashville restaurant group with about 15 or so restaurants and bars in East Nashville. It's been challenging, to say the least, but I love the people in it. But I really want to use whatever platform, whether it's the show or it's events our community is great, man. There's
Yeah.
some awesome people in this
It's a
community.
beautiful community.
And the thing is we all like each other and we all pretty much hang out. I feel like maybe just because of my age and because of my loud voice that I really just want to say to everybody, like, keep fucking learning from the people that are in this community and then do your own thing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of talented people here and there are very few obnoxious egos here,
Yeah.
which is so refreshing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 47 years old. I don't know a
You
lot.
are not.
I don't know a lot. And I'm
Yeah.
fine to admit that, So, but on the other hand, I am
great.
old. So if you need to talk to me about anything, I like when people ask me things about, all right, well, what should I buy for this? Or what should I do?
Yeah.
Like, why not help everybody else out? It's only going to benefit everybody.
Well, case in point, when I came into Peninsula one time, Andy and I were working over at Chopper trying to get some stuff together, and then we were like, we got a second. We can't go over to Peninsula and do the full-on thing, but we can go over there and have a gin and tonic, chill out, have a few bites, and then we got to go somewhere else. So we came over to Peninsula, and you were like, dude, you got to try this coconut rum. And it's the best coconut rum I ever tried.
Holy shit, yeah.
I don't remember
Brindley
what it was.
Gold, shipwreck from St. Kitts.
And
yeah.
and that was really interesting. Now that's a cool example of the community aspect and the kind of sharing that can happen.
Well, Andy used to come in. I helped my friend Dan open Inglewood Lounge. And Andy would come in and ask me to make whatever tiki drink I thought was fun.
Yeah.
And then he would sit there and write down I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll give you the recipe. It's something I just fucking made up. It's fine here.
Yeah, yeah.
And he would go through everything. And I'm like, that's the way it should be. This is, I really, one of the things I really missed about living in Seattle was this. I don't think I even realized how much I missed it until I got here. Like, just, what are you guys doing? I want to know what you guys are doing. And, like, how you doing that? Or, it's only going to make everybody better.
Yeah.
If everyone doesn't think that way, I want to be better at my job, or I want to be the best restaurant, or I want to be the best bartender I can be, or whatever, then what the fuck are you doing it for?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not talking about the guy or girl who works.
Satire.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for satire,
totally,
bro.
yeah, totally. Well, there's satire involved in all of that. So, but I mean, like, just, I feel like there's an awful lot of talented people here who care. So, and they want to learn.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is, like, people want to learn here. Guests, restaurateurs, brokers, whoever. Like,
Yeah.
no one that I've run into, with the exception of maybe 2 people, have acted like they know everything.
Yeah.
Trudy was one of them.
We're gonna keep you
I hate
here
you.
because
Trudy
in
is the
case
worst person.
in case there's some interjections you want to make on our next feature and our weekly feature.
Fucking all over the place.
It is time. The time has come for Booze News with Kenneth Dedmon. Kenneth, what do you have for us this week? What is booze-worthy and newsworthy this week, my friend?
I've been thinking a lot this week on heroism, Mike. What makes a hero? A lot of heroes either like do something or stop something, but then they have witnesses Are you following me here? Like, what makes a hero to you, Mike? I mean, you don't have to do something big. You can do a lot of small things and let those stack up. But traditional heroes are like, they do big things. One big thing to define them, and then they consistently do big things to follow up.
Yeah, or I think it can be a whole slew of little things over time.
Right.
You know,
right.
like a leading by example kind of hero.
Right. Well, that's what kind of grabbed me this week when I was reading the news. Apparently, Royal Caribbean cruise lines have banned a gentleman named Nick Nadev from the great state of Washington for jumping overboard while they were docked in the Bahamas.
Oh yeah, I heard about this guy.
11 stories. Caught it on video. He posted it to his Instagram. I watched it. It's insane. It's pretty much 11 stories is a lot, dude. It's over 100 feet.
It's a long way. I'm
it's
surprised
like
he made it.
120 feet. Yeah, he bragged, or I don't know if he bragged, but he said, like, no, my feet didn't hurt. My tailbone hurt a lot. And yeah, he posted this to his Instagram page. Royal Caribbean immediately kicked him off the boat along with his friends. I was honestly, Mike, I was impressed when I saw the video of this guy doing it, because it was heroic, but I wouldn't define him as a hero. And let me tell you why. This was definitely alcohol fueled, sure. And that does garner some respect for me. I love it when people get alcohol fueled and do feats of strength or courageous things. But this guy, I don't think he really impressed me much. And do you know why?
Because it's stupid?
Not because it was a stupid thing to do, but because he had it caught on video.
Oh, yeah.
Heroes don't say, hey, wait, film this, Heroes
film
just
this for my
do
story.
It. You just do it. And if he had done it, he would have done something legendary. And that 120 feet, the 11 stories that he fell, would be more like 22 stories, 240 feet.
Here's how I think this whole thing could have been heroic, okay? There's no video of it. There's no post to Instagram. Video. There's no, hey, look at me, look what I did. I drank a bunch of tequila and then I jumped off the side of a cruise boat. Not heroic to me. More heroic to me would have been word spreading that this gentleman jumped off this ship and was never heard from again.
Yeah.
Like that could be, there was an island off in the distance and he went to live on that island, or,
right.
Like it was like a peace out moment. So I don't know.
Booze news. It's not always perfect.
What else you got for booze news?
This is a pretty sensitive subject, and I know that we're no stranger to sensitive subjects, Mike.
Always delving into the tough subjects.
A new study via the spiritsbusiness.com titled Applying Physics and Sensory Sciences to Spirits Nosing Vessel Design to Improve Evaluation, Diagnostics, and Drinking Enjoyment. That's the name of the study. Has found that tulip glasses are scientifically incorrect for women to drink out of. The reason being that women have a heightened olfactory sense.
Wow.
So their sense of smell is, in fact, so much better than men's that tulip glasses or anything, perhaps a Glencairn, anything that would concentrate the aromas or the ethanol into the olfactory zone can actually cause pain.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like I said, I want to be careful with this.
That's interesting.
Because I'm actually just reporting on a scientific study.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to tiptoe in and tiptoe back out of this subject so as to not offend anyone.
You're a sensitive man.
Yeah. No, I have two sisters, one older, one younger, a loving mother, and my dad's kind of a wimp. So,
I
would say my household.
Dead leg in your future.
But let me throw a couple of numbers at you real quick before this gets old. 98% of women tested preferred open rim, which is just a regular glass. An open rim
in opposition to a tulip. Of that 98%, 30% of women refused to even take the test because of the olfactory pain from the tulip glass. So not only is it a heightened sense, but it's such an acute sense that it can inflict pain.
Whoa.
Pretty amazing. And I definitely...
Sounds like men did this study.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to have a study on the study.
Yeah.
It's just something that I really thought about as a beverage professional. I always look to you for guidance and advice, Mike. But does this mean that every time a lady asks me for a Stella, do I have to offer them options on glassware, or is it polite to offer options of glassware? Come on, help me out here.
I would stay out of it.
Just want to drop it? Should we have just made that part of things we're not...
No, I love the story. I think it's a key story for Booze News this week. It's very interesting. But I think, like scientists would say in this situation, more research, more studies need to be done before any conclusions are drawn. I think what you could do as a beverage professional in this situation is sort of shed light on it to your guests and say, hey, have you heard about this? This is interesting. You're a woman. Tell me, is there anything to this? I think that's what we got to do.
I think you have to acknowledge them as a human being before you call them by a gender. So to start that conversation, you would say...
human.
Human.
Hey, human.
Named Sarah, who is a woman. Man. Yeah, there's no... Like I said, I want to tiptoe around the subject.
Hey, human. What'd you call me?
Yeah, you might get your ass kicked some.
Tulip glass.
Yeah, tulip glass. Or anything of that nature, something that has a lot of surface area. It's fascinating because I want serving any beverages. I want any guest or friend or whatever. I want folks to enjoy something that I prepare. Mm-hmm. And I gotta tiptoe here. I don't want to offend anyone by offering too much or too little.
Mm-hmm. You want to offer the proper glassware when you can. Well, I think more research needs to be done. That's all I can say. I think that's the way to go. And I think it brings up an interesting point. It's worth researching. And I think on future episodes of Liquid Gold, we will be updating our listeners about this.
I don't know.
It's an interesting topic.
Yeah, it touches on a lot of just core beliefs like why are you testing women? How could you do that to a woman?
Well, it's like... Let me just be real general. It's like back in the Sex and the City days. Cosmos, super popular, still popular.
Hell yeah.
Mostly women. Interesting topic. What else you got for Booze News this week? What about corn syrup gate?
Oh,
aren't we going to touch on that?
I think so. I mean,
man, the Super Bowl was pretty lame this year.
Oh,
what can often be a great excuse to indulge in wings, nachos, maybe too much guacamole, a layered dip, lots of beer. Really, this year was not that cool. The commercials were dumb. A lot of robots.
I was depending on the commercials because I wasn't really that excited about the matchup this year anyway.
Yeah, give us something cinematic.
So I was like, I don't really care, but I definitely want to see some commercials. And
yeah, when you got Harrison Ford talking to a dog about an Amazon order.
What the fuck was that?
It wasn't good, so I don't want to hear that it was
you
good.
just don't throw a 77-year-old man in front of a camera and expect, generations, not maybe
unless
a
his
generation.
Name's Martin Landau.
But generations to be, enamored and talking about it. No, it's not going to freaking happen.
Is he 77? God, he does look great for being 77.
Probably, yeah.
Man, one thing that we did talk about, and this is sort of booze-worthy and newsworthy, is the Bud Light commercials, which kind of won the day. They kind of stole the show. They did a very well-produced sort of multi-part ad that talked about corn syrup being used in Coors Light and Miller Lite, and they were newsworthy the next day. That was what kind of everyone was talking about. There was backlash. Coors Light was coming at them, Miller Lite, but that was all sort of playing into their hands. And so whoever the Don Draper was that dreamt this whole ad campaign up, you got to take your hat off to him. I mean,
Yeah.
it had people talking. It was really talking about how corn syrup is used in these other beers, but Bud Light doesn't use it. Brewers would point out, well, the yeast don't care what they're feeding on, and it's not like the beer itself.
Yeah.
More
what are
sugar
they
or something.
Talking about using it as sugar for fermentation, or are they adding it post fermentation
No, this
to
is
enhance
pre-fermentation.
Okay, strictly.
So then, corn farmers,
Yeah, they
corn
probably
lobby, they came after Bud Light.
up in there. Yeah, I mean that.
This was really the most interesting story the day after the Super Bowl, because it was a punt fest. One of the highlights I remember, because I was laughing about this watching it on ESPN, like the highlights was a punt, the longest punt in Super Bowl history, and it's not a good Super Bowl.
That's when you
that
need
happens.
those commercials the most.
Yeah, and let's not even talk about the halftime show. I mean, it was, I don't know. I would have loved to have seen Garth Brooks and Chris Gaines doing the halftime show. Now that would have killed.
And they'd have kept their shirts on too.
Yeah.
Be respectful.
Chris Gaines might have taken off his shirt. He seems like but that would mean Garth Brooks would have to start doing push-ups immediately.
You know what I thought of when that dude took his shirt off? Janet Jackson.
Yeah. That was wild.
What a jerk. What's that band called anyway?
I don't remember.
That guy looks...
Not Chris Gaines?
Whoever he is. But yeah, Big Boy was on there. There was and SpongeBob. So there were 12 seconds total of worthwhile entertainment.
I was confused
at the
about
halftime.
SpongeBob. I thought that was somebody had hacked into it and made SpongeBob kind of arrive to the party.
Well, Cartoon Network is based out of Atlanta, so a lot of those dudes that did those cartoons are actually residents of Atlanta or native.
Hey, I'm glad they had some kind of tie-in. Gladys Knight did kill the national anthem.
Yeah,
that
she
was
did,
the best part of the entire night. She absolutely killed the national anthem. So check that out on YouTube. That was probably all you missed if you did not see the Super Bowl. But the Bud Light controversy, definitely worth noting here on Liquid Gold, where we talk about beverages, cocktails, beer, wine, spirits, all kinds of things. Coffee. We're drinking some nice coffee right now.
Hang on. So the corn lobby took offense to the anti-corn syrup platform that Bud Light was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they took offense to it. They're not drinking Bud Light anymore.
You don't mess with corn farmers, really. Not in the United States, dude. Once those prices start dropping, it's a Bruce Springsteen song.
Well, thank you for joining us this week on Liquid Gold. Thanks to Craig Schoen of Peninsula.
Yeah, thanks, Craig.
For coming by. Awesome having him. You can reach out to us, liquidgold_pod on Instagram. That's at liquidgold_pod.
Yeah, send us a DM if you got any questions, or you keep the comments really to yourself, but send us a question.
We'll take comments. We'll take questions. Whatever you got.
If it's
We're
I could use a
accessible.
compliment. At least today.
Definitely compliment Kenneth. And if anyone out there wants to do collaborations, if you want to talk about the cocktails for your wedding, if you want to talk about cocktails for your party, hit us up. We're out there. We're here to help you drink better here at Liquid Gold. We're excited for our next guest next week, which we will surprise you with. And that'll be our Valentine's episode. So we're excited about that. Kenneth, I hope you have a great week.
Thanks, Mike.
And I do want to throw a shout out to the We Own This Town podcast network. Thanks for having us. And there was a cool show that I got to do. I was the guest on This Is the Place, which is a food bar podcast on the network. They talk about the ever growing and ever shrinking restaurant and bar industry here in town. And Mickey, who was one of my favorite regulars back at the old Holland House, has been hosting that show. So I got to come on and talk with him about all things Chopper. We are looking forward to opening here. Late March is what we're shooting for right now. And we talk about all things tropical beverages, sort of the tradition of tiki, and it's a lot of fun. So find that on the We Own This Town podcast network, wherever you get your podcasts. The show is called This Is the Place. And thanks for joining us here on Liquid Gold. Kenneth, I hope you have a good week.
Thanks, Mike. You too.
Cheers, everybody. Love you.
Love ya.